Why don't you give me a new one? Yeah, I mean, just got it. Make sure it's no car. Have that, right? No copy. And it's a progressive. You remember the password when you go online chat. I feel that you tired of. From me.
Hey, Rich.
Hey, John.
Hey, I really appreciate last meeting, Rich. That was really,
Hold
really
on, hold
helpful.
on, hold on, hold on. Let me turn off my radio.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
I was just saying, I really appreciate last meeting. That was really, really helpful, going through those cases. I know, like we couldn't have bid, we're not ready to bid on those three we covered for Monday or today, but like it was really helpful because we had one-off questions and like going into some of those cases, it answered like 4 or 5 of our questions plus easily. So
Good,
it really
good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it. Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Ahead of you there, buddy?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to figure out how to establish our basic title. We'll do a little work towards that tonight.
Mhm.
The very single, most important thing you need to learn how to do is confirm what the real estate tax bill that's outstanding is. It's one of those things that if you don't write it down on a checklist, you're going to forget. So does everybody know how to check for real estate taxes in their county?
Yes.
That was you, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mahedi, you do that too for your properties you're going to bid on, yes or no?
I so last time we talked about that thing. I haven't checked, but I have that link to check it.
Okay. All right. Well, tonight we're going to do one here in Orange County, simply
Okay.
because I like it much better than your county.
It's okay.
Nothing personal, man. It's just that I'm used to this website, and Duval just doesn't seem to agree with me as much. So, anyways, this is the property that went to sale tomorrow. 2-3. Oh no, it went 2-3. So it went last week, sold for 341 to a third party bidder. We're all familiar with this screen. I always like to
Mhm.
check the bidding history. That's my own stuff. I like to check. But see, here we go, 5167. This is a professional investor with that number because it's only 4 digits. If I see the name on this Elite Truska, if I see the name, I'll probably recognize it. But he's a professional investor. He bid up to 341, so I'm sure he's got himself a reasonably good deal. Let's check the taxes on it. Let me get a scrap paper here. Hold on. Okay, so the tax, we're going to look it up by property. 750 Essex Place. Okay, gonna look that up. Right there. Okay, so John, you know how to get to this spot? Mahidi, you know how to get to this spot in your county? Mahedi.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Yes.
750 ESSEX Place. Let's see what we got. There it is right there. Yeah, so it was paid in full. Look, there's last year's bill right there, 6,100. Oh, these are big taxes. Okay, so 6,100. Now, I want to talk to you about how it got there. John, have you ever heard me talk on tax deeds and tax certificates yet?
Briefly, I'm not as familiar though. I recall more about the foreclosures.
Okay. Well, this is one of the things you're going to have to learn is checking real estate taxes. And while we're on it, unless you guys urgently disagree, I want you to learn about how we got to this place, how they got to this big ass bill, $6,100. And I want to show you what to look out for.
Mhm.
Basically, when property taxes are not paid, the clerk every June gets together a batch of all the properties that haven't paid their taxes. Just to give you an idea, when the batch auctions for tax certificates, which are not the same thing as a tax bill or a tax deed, tax certificates used to fill a 15,000 seat auditorium in Broward County. The auction would start at 9 in the morning and run until 5 o'clock at night, with about one property certificate being auctioned off a minute, and it would run for 2 weeks. That would just give you an idea of how many people in Broward County don't pay their taxes on time. I can't imagine in Orange County, it's got to be about the same because people are generally lackadaisical about property taxes. So when the certificate gets auctioned off, it gets auctioned off, like I said, that day in June. And the bidders that attend the tax certificate auction are bidding on the interest rate that they're willing to accept to pay the taxes. You guys get that?
Mm-hmm.
So they start out at 18% and it goes down all the way down to, I've seen it go down to zero, where an investor would pay zero, would receive 0% interest for paying 61.33, for example, if this was the tax certificate. There's no reason to do that. That's the biggest dumbass in the room. Go and try and play poker with that guy because you're going to kick the shit out of him, even if you don't know how to play. And I relate everything to poker because that's where I take my brain up against their brain. And if that's the way he's thinking, I want to play with that guy. So, anyways, so the tax certificates generally get auctioned off. All of them get auctioned off unless it's just a crap house party. Unless it's the worst house you ever saw, it won't get auctioned off. It'll go back to it'll go to lands for taxes, I think they call it nowadays. There's not very many good properties on it, especially in big counties, because if they're nice properties, every county that's worth their salt, in other words, it's got some good properties in it, everything will be auctioned off. But if you go to a tiny county, there'll be some good ones that'll get left behind because there's just not enough money in the county. There's not enough investors in that county to light everything on fire. So some properties end up going back to the clerk just for taxes paid. So that's a good thing when all is said and done. That's a good thing. But you're not going to find it in Orlando, Hillsborough, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade. You're not going to find anything on those lists. So the tax certificates get auctioned off, and the investors, they start at 18, 17 and a half, 17, 16 and a half, go all the way down. The banks recognize this. The banks know that you will receive at least 5% interest if you bid at least 0.5%. So I'm going to say that again. The statutes say that the minimum rate that a tax certificate holder will be paid is 5%. So if they bid down to 0.5%, they're still getting 5%. A lot of investors don't know that. They bid that thing and they'll stop bidding once it gets below 4, and the bank will happily do it at 3.5 because the banks know they're getting 5%. There's actually clubs that you could join and you put your money in it and you buy tax certificates. If you're happy with a 5% return, knock yourself out, because the days of getting 18% on a tax certificate, those are long gone. You're not going to get 18%. Again, you might get them in the smaller counties when there's not enough money floating around, but in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Orange, all the big counties, you're not going to get 18%. If you do, it's a property that is a big mistake, and you have to take solace in knowing that if no one else bid but you at 18%, you know you're getting a piece of shit. Because with the savvy investors nowadays, you'll never get 18% on something that's worthwhile. You'll lose your money. And I can speak firsthand at this, because the very first tax certificate auction I went to, I thought I knew every goddamn thing. That was back when I was in my mid-20s. And of course, both of you knew everything too when you were in your 20s. And I bid on properties that were easements. When I say they were easements, they belonged to FP&L. They taxed it, but there are no taxes due because it's an easement. But I spent $30,000 on easements, so I didn't get any money back. So I got royally screwed, and I said, you know what? That's never going to happen to me again. And that's why I learned this in such an in-depth way. So the tax certificate gets sold for 5%. That's probably going to be the rate, 5%. And it's just Billy tax certificate guy that buys it. And he cannot contact the property owner. He cannot contact anybody. He just has to sit there and wait until the tax bill is paid. Now, the one redeeming feature is the county sends out a notice that says your property was a tax certificate was sold in your property to Billy certificate buyer, and you have X number of days to pay the certificate before you incur more interest. That letter comes directly from the county, and it usually scares the pants off of a property owner. So for those that don't know what their rights are with regard to tax certificates, they'll pay it within the first week. So if they pay that within the first week, I don't care if your interest rate is 18%. 18% on 6133.91, which is the bill for a week, you're going to earn 85 cents and that's it. It's not worth it. That's why tax certificates are a gamble. You never know when you're going to get paid off, and you can't control the being paid off. Now, once that certificate gets to be 2 years old, now the owner of that certificate can make application for a tax deed. A tax deed can be purchased and extinguish the mortgage. That's a story for another day. But once the tax deed gets issued, the tax deed purchaser gets the property and they can go, move in and do whatever they want to do. But I'm bringing this up to you because there's going to be times that you're going to find property taxes owed on your property, but it's going to be multiple year of taxes owed. So if it's 2 years owed when you buy it, so let's say, John, you bid at a foreclosure, you're happy with the number, you forgot to check your taxes and you see, oh shit, there's 12,000 owed. Don't pay 12,000 bucks. You only have to pay 1 year's worth to keep a tax deed sale from going off. So what you'll do is whichever of the 2 years are the oldest, you'll pay that tax bill, and that'll get them off your back. And then you can satisfy all the rest of the tax bill when you close. You guys understand what I just gave you there?
That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Most people don't do it that way. Most investors say, oh, 12,000, I got to go down and pay the whole thing. And it bites into your capital. It bites into your whatever you're going to spend to rehab the house. So I'm telling you, you don't have to do it. You just take the oldest year, pay the taxes due for that year, and then you move forward. And everything else will be paid. Let's face it, if you're going to sell it, you'll have money when you sell it, so you can pay it when you have money. So you're not thanking me now, but you guys will erect a statue to me after you do this one time. You go, man, that Rich, he's so smart. I'm telling you, this will save you some money, guys. This one will save it.
Rich, does it matter if the taxes, let's say, aren't paid for 4 or 5 years? It's just the last month, or not the last month, the last year we have to focus on, even if it's longer than that 2 year, going back 2 years?
Okay, good question, John. If there's taxes outstanding longer than 2 years, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, I can tell you without seeing the property that it's a piece of shit. Because when you, like, let's say the guy that's on year 5, his tax certificate is 5 years old, and now he wants to file for a tax deed. He's got to pay off all the other tax certificates. He's got to pay them all off. So if he paid 4, you figure there's going to be 4 other ones at 5 years, going to be 20 and change. He's got to pay. And there's a reason that none of the tax certificate holders paid the money to make a tax deed application. So if you're ever looking at a property and you see that there's 5 years taxes owed, make sure you go out and lay eyes on it, because there's a reason that the number one tax guy, the guy's in the number one position to file for a tax deed application, hasn't done it. And you've got to figure out what that reason is.
Okay.
So if you see that, John, call me, or let's have a conversation about it, because there's something amiss if nobody's made application yet. Because generally there'll be a certificate that's open for 3, and they're unusually sometimes there are some that are open for 4. But anything over that, man, there's a problem. Even the ones with 4 have problems. The last one I saw with 4 was a condo association in Broward it's in the hood. It's in the worst neighborhood in Broward County. And the tax rates haven't caught up to it, and it's not low enough yet. So people buy the certificates, hoping someone else pays them off. So it's a rarity it goes past 4. But if it is past 4, John, don't bid on it until we figure out why there's 4 or 5 years taxes owed on that house.
Okay. Thank you.
Just stay away. And you can check it. I mean, the reporting on taxes are very accurate. I mean, look at this. Here we got how much was paid, what day it was paid. You can print this out and figure it out, who paid it. So yeah, no, this is See, here we had a tax certificate that was redeemed at 3,600, but that was paid off. Paid it off. So, anyways, they don't usually go that far, John, but if they do, it should raise a red flag for you.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so do you understand how tax bills turn into some trouble with you guys? Tax bills got to be paid. If you're 3 or over, we really should know why it's 3 or over. 3 or over, I'm not afraid, but that just means you have to pay 2 years because you can't have any tax certificate out for 2 years because both of them can make claims. You can't pay one off without the other. So if there's 3 or 4 years, it's going to be expensive, but it's not as expensive as if you lose the house to a tax deed sale. Because the one thing you don't want to be in a tax deed sale, you don't want to be the owner of the property. You want to be the mortgagee if you can. However, if you are the owner, and there's no mortgage, which is a rarity, even though they're extinguished, there are still some properties with no mortgage. You, as the owner, prior to the filing, you can make claim to the surplus. So that's a story for another day. But I don't want you to get hung up on surplus. You don't want to have to rescue yourself from someone else bidding on your property. So, and let's just try to avoid it altogether, please.
Got it. Rich, you
Yeah.
said, not to derail us, in that PDF, you said we can see the name of the person that paid the taxes?
Yeah, you mean this one here? Yeah, we can print this.
Because Jihad and I have been looking at this list. We never clicked the print PDF, so we didn't know it was.
Okay.
But I was just curious. He asked me. He was like, "Do you know how to do that?" He literally asked me that today, and I said, "I don't know, but we can figure it out."
See, you can see down on the bottom, Wells Fargo Bank paid it.
Look at that. Okay, excellent.
Yeah, what's crazy is they paid it, and they went to foreclosure a couple of months after. So I can't vouch for their money, their fiscal skills, or maybe they just don't know what the ramifications are for an open tax bill in Florida because they didn't have to pay this. You understand why they didn't have to pay it?
I guess if they were going to foreclosure, why incur the cost?
Exactly. They paid it in November. Oh, this is the wrong case. This is my case, isn't it? Oh, yeah, that's my case. There you go. That one. This one. They paid. Where's there it is. They paid it in November and they brought it to sale. So when they paid it, see this 2025 is the case number?
Mm-hmm.
3686. That tells me this case was probably filed sometime in February or March. So when they paid it, they knew they were right up against the foreclosure sale. So I don't know. They're just I can't make sense of why banks do things, and this is one of those things that I can't make sense of.
Rich, at the foreclosure sale, they don't take the proceeds out to cover the taxes then if it's not paid for the previous year?
No, at the foreclosure sale, you buy your property subject to any and all existing taxes.
That's right. Right. Duh, you told. Okay, right.
And it's never addressed. The plaintiff's attorney never mentions it because they realize that Florida law says when it goes to sale, anybody buys it subject to the taxes.
Okay. Yeah, then I don't understand why the bank paid it either.
Yeah, well, the thing is that after November, you start accruing interest at a very small rate. So I know the banks are allergic to paying the interest. I know that for sure. So maybe that's why they did it. Sort of like my girlfriend, she's Asian, and she's allergic to any interest. Any interest, she won't pay. Okay, so we're all clear on this. On the taxes are going to get paid, and you have to add it to your property value or to your costs when you buy a foreclosure. And sometimes the bill is high, and it doesn't matter if it's high as long as you price it in to your bid. There's nothing like having a mistake of $5 or $6 grand. You go, shit. Because it's not going to kill you, but it's going to eat into your bottom line. And it's not a small bite, $5 grand. Come on. It's better in my pocket than yours.
Right.
Okay. Then
So,
go ahead.
so Rich, this case, especially, it looks like it's the bank foreclosure. So when it's happened, is CD supposed to take all the tax payment from whatever the bid number is, or is just a separate claim?
No, you have to buy it based on the taxes subject to. In other words, your bid doesn't sniff it, doesn't talk about it. That's an additional cost you're going to have if you're the winning bidder.
Okay.
So you have to buy it subject to the taxes. Let me see if there's any other notes in here I want to talk about before we go on. Okay, I made a mistake the other night. I want to talk to you about it. It's regarding municipal and super priority liens. Remember how we said that the judge or the plaintiff's attorney has got to have a special set hearing for just one person, the city. You've got to have that to get rid of it. However, I did some research on it, and they still cannot remove super priority liens. Now, let me tell you what that is, unless you want to tell me.
Yeah, please tell.
Okay, John, you want to take a guess?
The only thing I can think of from yesterday was like if it's one of those things that it's a lien from the city itself, but I don't know what would classify specifically as super priority.
Okay, all right, good. That's okay. A super priority lien is something that's voted on by the taxpayers or by the voters in the county. Like, for example, if the city wants to take a $2 million and build a new park, they sell bonds. Once that gets approved, they sell bonds to investors. So if there's a lien from a super priority lien, like for a park or something that was voted on, it's not going to go away. You're going to have to pay it. So if they build a park next to John's house and they cost them $1 million and they had to float a bond issue to get that done, and they tax every homeowner or lien every homeowner $100 a month for 3 years, you're stuck paying it. That's a super priority lien. And
I'm
you can
curious,
check.
Rich, sort of related but unrelated. So when you go to buy a house with a FAR bar, and then you check that box that says the seller, will pay all the special assessments in advance on the regular FAR bar, so not for a condo rider or something like that. Would this super priority lien fall into that as like a
That's a great
special
question.
assessment from the city?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I mean, I have a little bit of an idea. I think what's going to happen is that you don't have to pay it in advance. Like, for example, if it's a condo assessment and it gets assessed for $5,000 that you got to pay on January 1st. And if you work with the association, you can make payments later. But the super priority lien, I don't think, and we'd have to check the way the lien is written, because if it's $100 a month, you can't be expected to pay 2 years worth because it's not due until the beginning of the next month.
Right.
But the assessment would be due in full right away, but you have to make arrangements with the association. That would probably be a question for my title lawyer, and I don't know that I'm going to run into it, but I'll try and remember to ask him next time I talk to him.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate it, Rich.
Yeah, okay, I'll check that out. But just so you guys understand, super priority liens, I made a mistake and said they get foreclosed out, but they do not. So I want to go on record correcting that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just look down my notes here. Okay, so the most important thing we have to do is next, we have to determine the priority of the liens. The priority of the liens. What that means is which lien has priority. And it's easy to figure that out because it's the first in time is the first in right. In other words, the lien that was recorded first is the first one to have they're going to have top lien priority. They'll be number one when it comes time to lien for liens. And a mortgage is usually going to be the first lien. And the mortgagee usually confirms with the title company and with their lawyer that they are the first lien being recorded, because mortgagees don't like to be second, especially if they know they're first. So with that said, most of your mortgage foreclosures are going to be first mortgages. I still advise you to check, by finding the name of the plaintiff or finding the name of the defendant when the deed went into her or his name. Look in the public records to see if that mortgage is right after the deed. If not, we did one yesterday where we saw the lady refinance it a couple of years later and took out what turned out to be a first mortgage. So your mortgage foreclosures are going to be simple. And you'll get like, for example, if there's going to be a sale date with 30 in it and you're interested in 10, you'll be able to blow through those 10 in probably less than 30 minutes. Once you get good and once you get used to looking for what you're looking for, it's easy. And really all you're doing is confirming and just looking for problems. Is there a problem here, a problem there? If no, it's going to be a first. The hardest part is going to be to determine the mortgage, if any, on a lien foreclosure. And a lot of investors are real happy to bid on lien foreclosures because the number's a hell of a lot smaller. It's only association dues. So where everybody's clear on that. Once you get the hang of doing title searches on mortgage property, on first mortgage foreclosures, it's a snap. And don't overcomplicate it. My God, because everybody, I teach this class live. And the first question is, oh my God, Rich, what am I going to do about the IRS? Don't worry about the IRS. They're never going to come and upset your bidding. They're never going to come and take your property away. Back in the day when property was 40 and 50,000, they might go ahead and what they would have to do is they would pay you back your bid and then they take the property from you. So don't worry about the IRS. They're going to show up in title searches. They're going to show up in the middle of a foreclosure complaint. And don't worry about it. And if you ever run into the IRS, read their answer. Their answer is going to say, we don't care about the property. We want to make a claim for the surplus. That's it. That's all they want. They want money. So don't worry about the IRS. Okay, so we have to be able to figure out whether there's a first mortgage or any mortgages on a condo or an HOA lien. Okay, we all got that? That's what I'm talking about next.
Yes.
Clear.
Okay, John, you got that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first rule of research is to print everything. Let's try to find a condo in here that's going to sale. Just give me a second. I wasn't prepared for this. So let me calendar. Okay. This is going to go to sale. Oh, tomorrow. Okay. Now we got to find a CC case. These are all CA. These are timeshare. You don't know anybody that buys timeshares, do you, John?
Unfortunately, I do. I've tried to talk a couple people out of it, but they don't listen to me.
Now,
Tried.
Eddie, you know anybody that buys timeshares?
No, it's completely new to me. Duval County, I haven't seen any of them like timeshare.
Okay, we have unfortunately an overabundance of them. Look at all these being foreclosed out. Yeah, when you buy
Yeah.
timeshare, all you're doing is buying a bill, buying a maintenance bill. That's it. Now
I was
does
about to say, next time I think I'm going to tell them to go to the auction, be like, rather than pay the $14,500 they're asking you for a week of vacation, why don't you just come to the auction with me? Pay me
Yeah.
$500. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Okay, this one is canceled. See, this has got a final judgment of 47, so it makes me believe, but it's a CA. Let me just go look at it. Is it a condo? No, it's Fairwinds Credit Union. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I want to find a condo so we can actually look at it. Let me see. Is mine a condo? Oh yeah, mine's a condo. Okay. Yeah, this is mine. We can do mine. Okay, so I'll just quickly off topic a little bit, maybe pique your interest for something else. John, you'll recognize that name right there.
I do. I do.
Yeah, it's me and Ivanhoe did this. What we did is the association, Plaza del Fuentes, they owed or they got a property back at a foreclosure sale. So if you think about it, the only way that a condo is going to get a property back at a foreclosure sale is if there's a mortgage on it, right? Why else would a condo The property's worth 130. Their claim is 35.
Mhm.
Why would they ever prevail at the sale? Why would nobody buy that? Because of the mortgage.
Be- because of mortgage, right?
Yeah, there's a big ass mortgage out there that they can't figure out what to do. So that's what happened in this case. This condo, I saw in the public records that they owned this property right here on this thing. And then what Ivanhoe and I did is we went and we bought the mortgage. So we bought the mortgage from the original from the current mortgagee, and I think I have documentation in here. Oh, you're gonna make me go back and look again? Oh man, I gotta look up my case number. Forget it. We'll talk about it another time. Let me try to find a condo. John, do you have any condos that you're aware of in the sales? I know you had one that was going to sale on the. Was it yesterday you found one that was going on the 9th? Or it went today? Remember?
You were asking about condo sales?
Yeah.
So that one was on, I think it was in January. I always forget the date, but
Oh,
that was the
gee.
one for 75 grand. And you were able to find that mortgage very quickly. And I don't think Jihad and I did initially.
Okay, let's go. Jen, do you remember the date?
You know what? I think I sent it to you in email. Give me one
Yeah,
second.
look in your notes. Unfortunately, I don't keep the notes of our meetings, but
No
that'll be
worries.
one for us to show exactly what's going on with it.
There's another one that I was looking at. I thought about
Good.
including it. I just thought it would be too many to ask for in one night.
No, give me the
Bring
date.
it next week. Let me get you the date. Case numbers, January 20th. That was the date.
Okay, January 20th. There it is right there.
And case numbers 2024 CC 023511. So the last three is 511.
Okay. You gotta get my.
You can refresh on the top one more time and then it will come back.
Sorry?
You can refresh on the top.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
See all you young guys, you guys are knowing all this shit. I just sit here and look at it. Okay, 511. This is it right here?
That was it. Yep.
Okay. So the final judgment amount was 10,722. Let me just write the case number down so I can pull up the clerk's docket sheet. 202 CC.
But yeah, you're right, Rich. They're always tempting because I look at it and I go, oh, the final judgment's only 10 grand. And I'm like, it must be a condo lead. And I hope there's no mortgage. And I start looking.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
tempting. You gotta look at it.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, even the assessed value is not that high, but anyways, let's look and see what this
Right.
guy. Maybe you tell me everybody knows. Oh, Royal Auto. We did this one yesterday, didn't we?
That's right. It's with CG Fu. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't think we found a mortgage on it, but let's go look anyways. We'll go through the process of looking for a mortgage. So let me pull the clerk up. See, I'm not gonna need
So
this.
Rich, if we
Yeah.
buy that kind of property, which is we already buy one of them, So whatever the mortgage is due on the property, say it's a 50,000 or 100,000, whatever. So do we have to pay that mortgage during the sale, or we have to take an attorney or lawyer and resolve the case? Like,
Okay.
what is the next step when we buy that kind of property?
Okay. You lost me. Can you refresh the question or ask it a different way, or don't include all the details? Just tell me what you're trying to get at.
So when we buy the lien property, which is HOA,
Okay, so hold on.
the mortgage.
So hold on. You're at a foreclosure sale. It's a lien sale. It's a lien foreclosure, and you end up bidding on it and winning.
Winning, yeah. So
Okay,
there is
good.
a mortgage in there.
And there's a mortgage on it. Okay.
How we should pay that mortgage?
Now I think we talked about this when the very first time we talked. Is this on property 1 or property 2?
That's the property one.
Property 1. We didn't discuss that one in detail. Only 2.
We did not. We only discussed about the 2. But my question is how we pay off that mortgage. Like, what is the process?
You want to pay it off, or are you trying to sell the house?
When I sell the house, yeah.
Sell it. Don't even call them. Unless you're going to write them a check for $1 bazillion, don't call them. It's a waste of time and a waste of money. Just pay them off when you close.
Okay, okay. So that is my question. Okay.
Yeah, they don't need any notice. They're not going to be sweet to you. You're not even friends. As a matter of fact, you don't even have standing to ask them any questions about it. So you call them up
Mm-hmm.
and you say, okay, what's the balance? And they'll say, oh, we can't tell you. You have no standing. But I'm the owner of the property. Yes, but you didn't make application for the loan. What you'll need to do is get a signed letter from the mortgagor. In other words, the person that lost it at the sale, and submit it to us in order for us to answer the question. You don't even bother. Because what'll happen is
Mm-hmm.
when you sell it, the title company will call them and say, okay, what's the payoff for this property? And they'll send it to them.
Okay. Okay.
They're not
Makes
going to have
sense.
they're not going to have any conversations with you whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad, but that's just the way it is. And when I was younger, I didn't take that answer. I wasn't happy with it, so I would fight with them. And of course, what that does, it makes them even less likely to
Mm-hmm.
deal with me. They're not going to talk to me nice anymore. They stopped answering my calls, stopped returning my emails. So yeah, don't do what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me go to the next. Okay, this is court records, which I don't want that one anymore. I want to have the public records because we're going to look up that name and maybe we can point out things a little bit different than I did yesterday. Okay, let's see. Shooting from you, right? Either party. It's going to be a ENRIQUEZC. Now there's the Carmen, right? Right there. Now we're going to search. And we're trying to confirm whether or not this property has a mortgage on it. And if I'm correct, I don't think that we found one yesterday when we were looking. So let me see. This is Villa 83. Oh no, we did, didn't we? Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Oh yeah, we did find a mortgage on this one, didn't we? But did we figure out whether this guy bid the right number? Because I don't remember what he paid. We can go onto the auction site and see. We got to go to the mortgage and see the amount. 262, good as number as any. So let's see at the real auction site. This guy paid 75,000. Do we know what this thing is worth? Oh wait, this ain't the right one, is it?
Oh, it is the right one. That's it.
So what? So it says it's worth 54, and he paid 75 added on to 200,000. What a mistake that is.
I don't.
Let's go look
Yeah,
at
I
the
don't think
property.
the assessed value is right. I'd have to double check, but
Ooh, there it is right there. What a beauty. What a beauty. Okay, so homestead cap. Okay, so they're saying it's worth 175. So he bid 75. I'm going to suggest that mortgage that's on it is at least 150 because it was 240 before. So I'm going to say he's going to lose his ass on this. Yeah, okay, so this is the previous sale. Yeah, I think he paid too much. What do you think?
I think you're right, Rich. Jihad just said to me that if he remembers right, the ARV for that is like it's a little over 200. So I think you're correct because if
Yeah,
you're 75 in it at auction and you got a $150,000 mortgage,
yeah,
even if you close at 250, let's say, you're
yeah,
walking away with realtor fees, closing costs. You break even at best, if not get bit.
yeah. No, there's no way this
Yeah,
was worth the gamble this guy took.
no.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, listen, it happens to the best of us. If you don't have to write a check to do a closing every once in a while, you're not doing enough business. That's how I try to explain it to myself.
It's a very positive way to look at it.
What's that?
That's a very positive way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? But this mistake was preventable. Okay, so here's how we're going to check to make sure if there's a mortgage. And this, you can turn this into a checklist. And I'm going to tell you which website you have to have open just to make sure that you know what you're doing. So first, you have to have the auction website open. That's the first website you want to have available because you want to keep going back and forth to it. The next one is going to be the public records for that county. Public records for that county has to be open because you're going to want to switch back and forth, back and forth. The clerk of the court's website. Have that open so you can access it. The tax collector, because we always want to see who's paying the taxes. And I think that's it, isn't it? Public records, clerk of the court, tax collector, auction. Oh, the property appraiser. Okay. So those are the 5 websites that you have to have open to start your title search for a property that's going at a lien foreclosure. That's what the first things you have to do. Now, there's documents that you're going to have to print out. Personally, I'm not one of those guys that swears by the tree thing. You know, I use paper by the reams, especially when I'm at the auction, because when you're making decisions, you can't, let's say with this one, if we were buying this property that this guy did his homework on or didn't do his homework on, whatever he did, you don't want to have to leave it to memory. In other words, if I was buying this property and I did my research, I'd print out the first page of that mortgage wherever it went. It's around here somewhere. I'd print out the first page. And you say, Rich, what's so important about the first page? Well, the first page is going to give me all the information that I'm going to need. Let me go ahead and I can go back here. I'm going to look at the mortgage right here. Print that first page. Gives you all the recording information. It lets you know the amount due. It'll also tell you when the date it was originated, which is going to be right there. It'll also give you the correct spelling of this guy's name, gal's name, whatever it is. So you always want to print the first page. You don't necessarily need the second page because it doesn't give you any information other than the property address. And you can always just take the property address and write it on this page right here. So when you find a mortgage on the property, obviously you'll check for satisfactions, which is part of the search. We'll do that later. But you want to start gathering all your information. So the property address on the front page of the mortgage gives you a good place to start. Okay, so when you're gonna start your title search, the first thing that you do is you run the property owner's name in the public records, just like we did for Miss Carmen here. Right here, I'm going to do a search right here. And I don't recall, but Mahedi, the Duval site, I think is similar in that you have to type it and then the name appears below it. And then you click on it and it shows up in the party screen. I think it's close. It's been a while.
It is close. Yeah,
Okay.
it is. It's the interface is a little different, but the search is come of the lot of variation.
Okay, but you get the idea. You got to take the take the owner's name, run it in the public records, and you're going to find out everything you want to find out about that person.
Right.
Okay. Now, the next thing you do, now, fortunately, this one only has 39 pages or 39 documents in it. Sometimes you're going to find a name where you're going to have 100 pages. And once you get good at manipulating the public record, you will be able to put in qualifiers to reduce that number down. But you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to use it. And you can do it starting with recording date, or who the other party is, or document types. But I hate document types, but that's beside the point. So you'll learn how to work that number down to something that you can deal with. And 39 documents is something you can easily deal with. Okay, so let's say we're just starting with Enrique or Carmen Enriquez. We put her name in the research bar right here, and we hit search, and we get 39 documents. The next thing I want you to do is to print the entire docket. So go ahead and hit that right there. Everything checks, and then you print it. Doink. And it's in this county, it's not going to overprint it. It's going to print it just like you see it. So there won't be any additional spaces or anything else. So it'll print it like you see it. Okay, you guys get that?
Yep.
This is very important because this is the way I learned how to do my abstracting or how to do my title searches. Because I'd have it in writing. And then when you do the search, you start from the latest to the earliest. You go all the way back to the beginning of time. And then you start eliminating these things. One by one, you take a pen and you cross through it until you find something that was relevant to the property. Now, this deed right here happens to be relevant because it's the deed into Carmen Enriquez. That's when they bought it from Patricia Garnett. I just happen to remember seeing that. But here's the legal. So you can always confirm it with the legal. So you go through, and whenever I see anything like this, if I'm doing my title search, I put a circle around the deed because I know it's part of this property. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll put a circle around the legal description because that's how I know it's part of this our conversation we're having right now. Okay, now we go to the next document up. No, that's not anything for us. Okay, this is a notice of commencement. I generally won't print that, but it just tells me that she did some work in the unit. Good for her. Then I keep going up. I put a cross through this. This one here, I would circle this, and I'd circle this one, and I'd also circle this out here because I want to make sure I know this is a mortgage. So you can circle it, you can highlight it, you can underline it, but make sure you do something different to this than you would of all the other ones because it is a mortgage, and it is on the property that we're talking about. You guys follow me so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is all on the basis of printing this document. Next thing you do is you go to the next document. This is 83 Villas again. I'm gonna circle mortgage, and I'm gonna make another mark over here somewhere so I know it's a mortgage. I'm gonna highlight it so I make sure I don't miss it, and then I'm gonna circle it in the legal description again. Okay, now I have another one. It's our property again. I'm going to go ahead and circle the mortgage, identify it. So I want the documents that are pursuant to the property I'm looking at. I want them to stick out when I look at this search the next time. This satisfaction, you're going to have to look at closer. I would probably look at it and make sure it's for the right association or the right legal, because what you got to do is you got to start taking these satisfactions and working them up against the mortgages that they relate to. Okay, I'm going to suggest that this one probably satisfaction Wells Fargo. This is the only Wells Fargo mortgage. So then what I do is I circle satisfaction and I cross off this mortgage after it's been satisfied. Now, you don't have to use the same marks on your title search as I do. Just so you understand, we're trying to make documents that are pursuant to our condo. We want them to stick out. And then as we continue reading, they'll start taking care of themselves. This satisfaction will allow me to cross off this mortgage. So now I only have 2 open mortgages. And you'll go on and on until you figure it out. Here's another mortgage from the city. What is this? Notice of commencement, Sharma Construction. I'm really not crazy about them. I don't care about them. But because all we want is owners and encumbrances. Write that down. Owners and encumbrances. What that means, you want to find out who the owners are. And you want to find out what they owe. What liens are on this property from their name. So we found a mortgage down here from the city, and this is probably a satisfaction for it. So then if this mortgage is circled, and then now that you see a satisfaction, you cross it out. Now, another thing that I do, and you don't have to do it, whenever I find a satisfaction, I will take a line here, go just like this, line straight down, and then an arrow. So here's my line straight down and in again, and then an arrow. So I know exactly what this is going to. So I don't make a lot of mistakes on my title searches because I'm not saying I overcomplicate it, but I make sure that I know what I'm doing. I don't lose satisfaction. I don't lose mortgages because that's how you kill yourself. Okay, so this here, this is going to be a lien, and we know this is the association. This is probably what they foreclosed on when they decided to do that. Assignment, I would just circle the assignment just because it's pursuant to a mortgage. It's not a satisfaction. It's not another mortgage, but you might find a satisfaction from a party that didn't initiate the mortgage. It might be a satisfaction from MERS, even though Financial Freedom was the only company was the company that originated it. But it's always a good idea to circle your assignment until you can get rid of it. Does anybody have any questions so far?
So I just want to make sure one thing that satisfaction is meaning the mortgage is paid off.
Okay. Satisfaction is the satisfaction on that particular lien. So this mortgage created a lien on the property for the city of Orlando. Then when she paid it off, there's a city of Orlando giving us a satisfaction. And if you dig into this, you'll see that this is exactly a satisfaction for this exact mortgage.
Okay.
Satisfaction means that baby's paid off and you don't got to worry about it at the foreclosure sale.
Right. So that's the satisfaction. And the assignment meaning is the loan has been transferred to some other financial company.
Exactly. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one now that you brought it up. So assignment of mortgage, hereby acknowledged, undersigned, Financial Freedom. So they're the people that own the mortgage now. And they're gonna assign it to MERS, Financial Freedom Acquisition, LLC. So this is the only document that's going to appear and show that this ownership of this mortgage from these guys is now in Financial Freedom Acquisition. And unless you make note of the assignment, you'll never find a satisfaction from Financial Freedom Senior Funding Corporation. They're the original lenders. They're not going to give you a satisfaction because they're going to assign it, and the assignee will give you a satisfaction if and when the mortgage gets satisfied.
Okay.
You got that?
Yes.
You're just trying to keep track of the names. Okay, John, are you still there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm following along.
Okay.
I also realize as you've been going through this, Rich, it's not that we didn't find the mortgage before. There's two mortgages on the same date in 2007 or 2008. One's from Urban Development and one's from another one. That was something that mixed us up on this one. So I'd love to get your take on
that means it was an 80-20. And the condo association's allowed to foreclose out that second, the 20%, but they can't foreclose out the first.
Okay, I wasn't sure because I saw Urban Development and one other organization, and it looked like they were for the same amount, but I didn't understand what was going on.
No, it's usually 80-20. So let's go back and look at it to make sure that we understand each other. Okay, here's the mortgage from.
So it's those two right there. It's the instrument 2007-058-9005 and the one right below it.
Okay, so let's look at this one. This is going to be the first. Visited, yeah, I know, but thanks for looking at from this one. Okay. View. Remember, we're going to make a copy of the first page of that mortgage when we're doing our title search. And of course, these dickheads didn't put it on the front page. They put it on the second page. So you have to pay a copy of the first two pages. Okay. I'm going to suggest that this is a second because it's not big enough to be a first. So Wells Fargo, we just learned, is a second mortgage. So let's go back. Wells Fargo, where did they go? Okay.
So Wells Fargo's second, not a first.
Yeah, it was probably recorded first. Yeah, see, it was recorded first, but I don't think it might. This mortgage might say that it's a second in the body of it, but you can't get priority with a second onto over a first just because the recording order's off.
Right.
Now, what's interesting about this, they were recorded a long time ago away. See, this is recorded in 06 and this is 07. So this wasn't an error. This is, let's go see what mortgage this is, because this is, I'll look at all the assignments. Okay. This is going to be a first. Yeah, it's going to be a first. This is the 262. So this is a first mortgage. Of course, we're printing the first page. Let's see what that other one was. This one, Secretary of Housing Development.
This is where it gets weird. It's like it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
265, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. There's only one lender. The money only only changed place one time. So I would completely discount this one. I wouldn't even worry about it.
Okay, so it's safe to say this is the same thing twice for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know what that. And see, look at the recording time and date. Yeah, they were done right after each other.
Right.
Maybe there was an error in one. Who knows? Who cares? But and here's the
But there is
satisfaction.
the guarantee is two different people. If you see,
Yeah,
one is the housing and one is the freedom.
these guys. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. If I was bidding on this, I know there's only one first mortgage on it, and they both can't be 265,000. They might have corrected an error. Who knows? It doesn't matter. This is a mistake or an on purpose that they did for some reason. But I wouldn't worry about it. There's only one first mortgage, guys, right? One of these two. And if you want me to get into this and we open it up and read it, and I'm not going to do that. I'll have a headache when I'm done. I'm just telling you, there's only one. Okay. This satisfied the Wells Fargo little tiny ass one, the $60,000 one. And this is a mortgage from the city of Orlando for something. And this has been satisfied. Okay. This is where we left off right here at this satisfaction. So here's the lien that the association has placed on the property. Here's an assignment of that big mortgage, 285,000, whatever it is, to MERS and to Financial Freedom Acquisitions. Now it looks like Villa del Sol, they're pissed off and they didn't get their money from their lien and they filed an LP. So we know that they got an LP going on. Here's a court paper from that same LP. The best thing to do here is if you see a court paper, you can look at it. But if it's got the same case number, see it's got the same case number as this foreclosure. There's nothing new in there. There's nothing that's gonna flip your skirt up. Okay, so here this guy she sold one, but it's not the right parcel. Okay, here's a notice from SD Global. Do we know what this was? Let's take a look at that. Executive claim report. What the hell is an executive claim report? Anybody know?
No idea.
Sir.
For substance investigation? Type of sinkhole.
Oh yeah, the sinkhole. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That is wow. So that's just one more reason to put a little black mark on this bitch. You don't want anything. You don't want nothing that has a potential sinkhole in it. I don't know what this is or who ordered it or what they paid for it or nothing. If I was going to buy this property, I'd be on the phone with these guys to find out what this is. Since I never heard of it, I'd have to find out what it is. But it's just another dark mark on this one.
Tried to find you weird ones, Rich.
What's that?
I said we tried to find you weird ones, Rich.
This is good. You did good.
Yeah.
You generally can't fool me on too many, but I haven't seen one of those before. Okay, so let's keep going on this search. Okay, we're still on 83. There's the lien. Okay, a little below. There's the court document that I told you we didn't have to look at. No, that's the court paper. We don't have to look at it. Who cares? Here's the judgment against the owner, and it goes to sale right after that, and it shows up on the. I guess it. How come we don't have CT yet? Do we know, John?
I think you said it was too close to the sale when we looked at this yesterday.
Let's just look.
If we look at the docket, I don't think it was issued, but I'm not sure. It's over 10 days, isn't it?
Yeah, but the clerk goes slow.
Yeah, and if there is a motion file or any file happen, then it will take time.
Yeah,
And,
well,
and that what happened for us for the second one. We get the title maybe 1.5 months after the bid
well,
did.
somebody filed an objections on yours, Mahedi. It doesn't appear that there's I mean, there might be. I haven't looked at the docket sheet, but that's not I mean, I'm not looking at that because we're not studying that tonight. But yeah, you're right. It's too soon. Well, who knows? Because the judgment's entered on 12/10. The sale probably took place sometime in February. Yeah, no, we're too close. Too close. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this out, and then I'm going to take pictures of it so you can see what the title search looks like after I'm finished with it. Because this is going to be your roadmap. I'm going to do one I'll do one for you. I'll include all the documents that I would have to look at, and I'll send them to you guys so you have a roadmap for you when you start doing your first title search.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think because it'll make a lot more sense once I mark it up, and that's what it's called, marking up your title search. So I'm going to print this whole thing right now so I don't forget. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So what I understand, based on your conversation, we need to check mortgage, we need to check judgment, satisfaction. Three
We're
things.
looking for owners and encumbrances. So that means we're going to be looking for deeds in and out and mortgages and satisfactions. That's it.
Okay, 3 things.
That's all we have to look at. And this is going to be the basis of your title search. And all the other websites that you're going to look at will be just double checking. When you check the tax collector, you're going to look to see who's paying the taxes. And you're going to hopefully find a mortgagee, or you're not going to find a mortgagee. Now, when it's going to get funky is when the public record says one thing and the tax assessor says another thing. So we'll talk about that. Hopefully we'll find one where it says that and we can figure out why. But marking this up and sending it to you is going to be invaluable for when you guys start.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
No, you're okay, John?
Yeah, I'm good to go on this end. I appreciate it.
Okay, good. I'll print this up. Like I said, I'll send the marked up one to you guys tomorrow, day after. And of course, I'll send the recording of this event so you can refer to it again whenever you feel like it.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so no more questions. We're going to end it.
Sounds perfect to me.
Mahedi, you're good? John, you're good?
Yeah, I think we're all squared away, Rich. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
All right. Well, I'll speak to Mahedi on Thursday night and John on Sunday night.
That sounds good.
And I will send you that foreclosure number, or that case number, by tomorrow.
What case number? For number one?
No, the case number which is we're going to review on Thursday.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's okay. And John, of course, you'll send me what you want me to look at on Sunday, and I'll take care of that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, guys. Have a great rest of the week. Speak to you guys soon. Thanks very much.
Sounds
Yes,
good.
sir.
Thank you, Rich.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Mahdi.
Bye, John.